Now we're going to do a polar alignment with the North Star. So with this one, we have this little cap down here we need to remove. That will give us access to the polar finder down here. Set this aside. With this telescope and some others that exist out there, there's a hole right in the center of this bar that goes all the way through the center of this. So we got to set it sideways like that, and you can either look through or feel the hole in there to get it straight. Don't turn it with your finger in there, otherwise you might have a little bit of an accident. And then we're going to take our laser again, shine it up through the polar finder, and we are really far off in two different directions. So we're going to release one side of our azimuth, and then we're going to tighten the other side to try to get it at least pointing towards that direction of north. And then, let's see, I'm going to loosen. Then we actually have to tighten that other side back up. Put that in there. Then you're going to loosen the front mount here for the declination. And we're going to try pointing that up higher. Loosen some more. And tightening this up some more. If it decides to work for me. You should be able to see the laser getting higher and higher. If you hear a low flying plane coming overhead, turn your laser off so you don't accidentally shine it into some pilot's eyes. Looks like we're getting closer. Gotta loosen, tighten some more. Okay, actually got to come down just a hair. Just went too far. Now we got to loosen this side a little bit more. And we have to go over just a little bit more. And it'd be easier to see if we didn't have a tree. But it is what it is. Down just a hair. And voila. So now what you want to do is retighten all of your set screws there and there. Okay, so we should be pretty close to north. These ones have a cool little pattern inside of here that you can use to help figure out where Polaris is. There's a function that has a little light that turns on in here. So that got us close, so we're good for now. And so now we're going to pop this cap back on. All right, so now we can turn on the mount. This is an extremely, almost identical way of doing everything as our smaller EQ35. So it asks initially start from park. Since we didn't set it to park because we just reset everything, we're going to hit no. But first, before we do anything else, something I'm forgetting is to put this back here. You always want to make sure that is kind of in a home position before you start. This hopefully is facing all the way down, just like that. Now that we have Polaris found, this is pretty close. We got this set in the right position, this set in the right position. We can turn on our mount. And we'll kind of do the same thing as the EQ35. It's the same controller, the SynScan controller. This is a little bit different for every type of company that makes these, so you kind of have to do it on your own to figure out which function does what. Okay, so now that it's on, we'll hit enter. We'll say don't look at the sun. Yep. So now we have to set the longitude and latitude. These do have GPS controllers that you can add to them later that don't come with the mount, but that's not what we're doing. Alright, so once again, west 111:56. Enter. North 40:45. Enter. Time zone -7. Enter. Elevation plus 1300-ish. What is the date today? It is 04/21/2020. Enter. The time is 9:27. We've got to convert that to military time, so that's 21:27. Enter. Enter. Daylight savings, yes. Enter Polaris position. Don't really care about that right now. Begin alignment, yes. We're going to go through and do a 3-star alignment, just like our other video, because that gives us the most precise pointing. So we're going to choose Arcturus once again. So this is where our laser is going to come in handy again, because we didn't do a daytime alignment of our finder scope. So we're going to do a nighttime alignment on Arcturus. So we're going to have the telescope go there. It's pretty close. So now we can use our laser in here. And if you get it just right, it'll point through the telescope into the sky. Change our rate to something a little bit faster than super slow. Move the telescope in position. And oftentimes when you do the laser pointer like this, it gets it really, really close. And then you can refine it by looking through your main scope. If you want to move that, you just release that and turn. Okay. It's in there. Just got to put it back in the middle. Going to change our rate to 4 again, because when you're looking through the scope, it moves a lot faster than when you're not. So right now I'm using a 50mm eyepiece, but it's a Plössl, so it has a same field of view as a different type of eyepiece that is like 40mm, just because of how they're designed. Okay, so we got that in there. Gonna do a little focusing, make it pinpoint. Okay, now we can do an alignment up here, so you can see Arcturus in there. If you can't, that just means you're really misaligned. Just gotta get it right in the crosshairs. Make sure everything's tight again. And then you're good. Okay, so once you get all of that aligned, then you hit enter. Second star, let's do Regulus. A little bit cloudy up there, but we can still see it. So we're gonna have the telescope slewed to there. Just watch your cables on these because they might get caught on something and get pulled out or something, so always got to keep those in mind. I'm gonna switch sides with it over here. Alright, this is where you gotta get on your knees. So hopefully you're not in an area where it's too rocky. Get that out of the way. And now that we have our finder scope well aligned, we can use that for getting it in there. Some people like to use telrads. I don't. Personal preferences are all over in this hobby. So then center it in your eyepiece, and then I must have hit the wrong button somewhere because it thinks I already had that. Fun. Restart. Okay, we'll start at Regulus this time since we're already there. But it thinks it's in a different part of the sky. Okay, I'm going to cancel this. And we're going to restart over. Alright, so set this back to its home positions. Okay, round two. You gotta watch what buttons you press, otherwise it likes to mess up. So we're gonna redo the alignment again from the beginning. Make sure all of our longitude and latitudes are good. Time zone's good, elevation's good, date's good. Time is not good. So just need to reset that. It's 21:35. Enter. Enter. Daylight savings, yes. Polaris. Yep, got that. Okay, begin alignment, yes. 3-star. Enter. And let's go to Arcturus again. Okay, so we did our alignments and everything already, but it's still pretty off. So if you don't have a laser, you can use these handy screws up on top. Change your rate. Use those kind of like a gun sight type thing. Let's get those two lined up. And should be able to see it once you're pretty close in the field of view of your finder scope. Get it in the finder scope crosshairs. And it should be in your main scope. Change your rate there. Center it in your main scope. Enter. Enter. Next one. See if it picks Regulus again. It doesn't. Regulus is easy, so we'll try to find that again. gives a bunch of stars that it thinks you can see, but you have to know a lot more than just the basic stars. So if you don't know it, you can either look it up or choose a different one. And sometimes it takes longer than others to pick stars. And sometimes you don't get the star that you're looking for, even though it told you earlier that it was out. Okay, I guess we're going to Doobie. Okay. Down on your knees. Should be fairly close in the field of view. Watch what buttons you're hitting, so you don't have to start over again. Once you get close, you can change your rate a little bit slower so you're not jumping around so much. Get it in your eyepiece. Enter. Third star. See what it gives us. Getting a little cloudy, so we're running out of stars. Regulus. That is still seeable. So the farther apart that you get your stars, the more precise it's going to be able to calculate your errors, and then its pointing model will be much more precise when you're moving around in the sky. But it does not affect your tracking. That is purely affected by your orientation to the North Polar axis. So don't get those confused. And back onto your knees. Find Regulus. Being careful which buttons you press, so we don't have to start the video recording again. And even with a little cloud, you can still see Regulus. Enter. It says alignment successful. Caution value is not very far off, less than a degree on each. It's pretty good for eyeballing it. We'll talk about how to get it better later when we do an astrophotography tutorial. So, should we try to see M87 with a 10-inch telescope instead of an 8-inch telescope? I think so. Type in M87. Tell it to go, and go, and go again, and then it'll finally go. Last time we were looking with an 8-inch telescope, and it looked like a very light smudge that some people may not have even known it was a smudge. So we'll try it with a 10-inch, and the smudge should be larger and a little bit brighter, but still a smudge. But that little smudge is hundreds of billions of stars, really, really far away in a time long ago. So I'm going to move this into a more comfortable position, for me at least. And is it there with some cloudage? Might be a little bit off center. And there it is. Slightly brighter smudge than it was last time. Okay, so sometimes if you switch your eyepiece, it gets rid of a little bit of that background light pollution. So I'm going to throw a 17 millimeter on instead of a 50 and see if it pops out just a little bit better. Going to require a little bit of refocusing. And if you're in a neighborhood like mine, there's lots of porch lights on, cover your face like that, and it actually is much better. You can actually see it quite easily now, relative to other galaxies, that is. But we are seeing a galaxy in a fairly light polluted area in the middle of Salt Lake City, so not bad. I'm going to try to focus in on the phone here and show you how to find something real quick. Okay, so it usually starts off in the south. So we notice that our sky is getting really cloudy, especially to the east, or to the west, but the east is still pretty clear for a minute. So we're going to zoom around, and here in the east we have these little crosshair things, and we can zoom in a little bit and it'll give you more choices. Currently we are over here in this part of the sky. If you zoom in, you see more and more galaxy markers, and we're currently over here at M87. So we want to look at something different. So we scroll over this way, come back out a little bit, pick a different part of the sky that we know is clear. And here's M3 popping out all nice. So we're going to go to that really quick. Okay. All right. So we're going to tell the telescope to escape there, go M03, enter, 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 enter. So as long as you did your pointing model properly, it'll actually go really close to what you want to look for. And the closer you can get it, like if you were to zoom in on any of the stars and center it even finer, that's even better. And then you're not having to jump around trying to find stuff and going in between things. And this one's pretty good, so it's almost directly in the middle of the field of view. And in a 10-inch telescope, you actually get to see individual stars in M3 instead of kind of like a smudge of them. And we're getting a cloud right as we get there, so not bad. All right, so don't kill it yet. So that's what we have tonight. We're going to tear this all down, but won't let you deal with that. But our next video will be getting into, I think, astrophotography or something. Maybe setting up a Dobsonian, but that'll be a really short video. Okay, thanks, and keep coming back for more.